know what that means?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wine
Wine
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Join
Join
your
your
host,
host,
James
James
McGee,
McGee,
for
for
a
a
glass
glass
of
of
wine
wine
and
and
discussion about
discussion
current
about
events.
current
No
events.
matter
No
what's
matter
going on
what's
in the
going on in the
world,
world,
it's easier
it's
to
easier to
swallow
swallow
mixed with some
mixed with some
wine.
wine.
Welcome back to the James McGee Show, Wine Wednesday. I am your host. I am James McGee. So it's Wednesday and we have a glass of wine and talk about some current events. So let's get to what I'm drinking. I am drinking Juggernaut. It is a cab from California. I'm going to tell you that this is a top three. Under $20. It's right at $20. I think I paid 18 for it on sale today. It is top three, under $20 bottle. One of the best, one of my favorite. And that's why I got it today, because it's one of my favorite. And I felt like drinking it. There's no uh, special reason for this one today. It's just that's what I wanted. So what I want to talk about today has been a hot topic for a little bit, and it's always a topic, but because of the WNBA draft of Caitlin Clark, and then she just landed a huge shoe deal with Nike. The pay disparity between men and women athletes come to light. Now, it's huge. It is a huge between the NBA and the WNBA. It is huge, and I'm indifferent on it. I'm not here to jump on a bandwagon. Just like with everything else that I do, I'm thought provoking, and I want to provoke your thoughts and bring some things out that I think that are important. I got my glasses on today because I got some notes, been doing some research because I want to make sure that when I make statements that it's it's an educated statement. So just give a little bit. We're going to get more into. It's not just about the NBA. So the NBA plays 82 games a year. They generate on average $10.8 billion yearly. They have an average salary of $10 million. The minimum salary of any player on NBA roster is 1.12 million. The NBA is 50 years older than the WNBA. There are 30 teams in the NBA. The WNBA has 12 teams. They play 40 games a year. Generates right now about 200 million a year. The average salary is $147,000. The minimum salary is $76,000, and that's where the controversy came in when Caitlin Clark, she's making millions in the NIL deals. And I'm gonna get into NIL. She's making millions in the NIL, and she goes to the WNBA, and that's what she starts at. But she is making a lot of money on endorsements, and there's just a lot of thoughts that I want, a lot of things that I want to bring up and get us thinking about. Now, here's a big disparity. NBA player, because that 10 billion a year as opposed to 200 is a lot, obviously. Well, the NBA player, the salaries are 50% of the revenue of the NBA goes to player salaries. The WNBA is 10%. So there's some research that I've done, and I'm gonna just give some of the things people are saying, and some of it makes sense, but I think that that's where they need to get. They That's a reasonable expectation. They should have to get there. But as we're going to discuss a little bit later, is whose responsibility is it to get there? That is a goal, and they should want to get there. And when you have been around, it's just 50 more years of collective bargaining agreements and the leverage that they have with some of the big stars that they've had, and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and just Larry Bird, these players that they've had through the years that paved the way that, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, they weren't making that kind of money, but they helped pave the way for the players making that kind of money today. Well, I see players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, those types of players being those trailblazers. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a basketball fan. I don't watch much basketball. I did follow a little bit just because of the hype and being from Louisiana. My daughter goes to LSU. Went to an LSU girls basketball game this year. It was great. It was great. It was a well attended. It played Alabama. It was well attended. It was probably, I'd say, 75% full. Here's the kicker: the game was at 3 o'clock on Super Bowl Sunday, so people are supporting that basketball team now. Kim Mulkey's done a great job. Angel Reese, Flo J. Johnson, they have done a really good job of marketing. LSU's done a good job of marketing that team, marketing those players. They've done a good job of marketing themselves. So that's where the benefit is. And that's why there are players on that team getting millions in NIL deals. The WNBA is still young. Looks like they're heading in the right direction. Caitlin Clark's jersey this week, top sales of, I think, any jersey sold. I don't have the exact stat, but it was unbelievable. That says a lot about her marketing, the people that are marketing her college team. The future is getting bright for women athletics. So it was really it was really controversial in a lot of these media, the talk shows like The View and those places, that they went berserk on the $76,000 a year that is the minimum salary and that Caitlin Clark will receive. Well, what's sad is there's no loyalty with these groups at all. They were man, poor Caitlin Clark. Now this week, Caitlin Clark is the bad guy. Caitlin Clark's the enemy because she lands a $26 million Nike shoe deal. Well, in those people's eyes, in the liberal media's eyes, now the same ones that were poor Caitlin now are saying, well, she didn't deserve that. She hasn't done anything. Well, yes, she deserves it. Apparently, Nike sees her star power, and she is going to put those shoes on people's feet. So you damn right she deserves it. That's where the problem comes in. That's where the issue comes in, because here's the thing. It comes down to who is generating money. Who is generating money? For the WNBA, for the NBA, for every sports organization, who is generating money for Nike, who is generating money for Adidas. So it also comes. So now it comes down to us. Support. If you thought that this other person should have got the shoe, what are you doing to support that person? I'd like to know if anybody from these media organizations, what are they doing to support women's athletics? That's what we have to look at. Caitlin Clark is getting what Caitlin Clark deserves. They're not giving it to her for any other reason except they're going to make money off of her. They see a chance to make money. But we're trying to compare, there's not an apples to apples comparison between the NBA and the WNBA. Just gave you the numbers. The revenue's not the same. It's the same sport, but it's different. If we're going to compare, if there's any comparison, I'm a big MMA fan, huge UFC fan. Well, that's really the only sport that I see that we can do an apples to apples comparison to. Now, did a little research on that. The men and women fight in the same league, and they fight on the same fight cards. The UFC has been in existence for 30 years. In November, they celebrated their 30th year. The women's division has been in for 10 years. Over the years, the women's division, with the help of superstar Ronda Rousey, put women's MMA on the map. She will always, forever be remembered as that. Amanda Nunes came behind her, was the person who put her into retirement. Huge star. And there's other ones coming up. Got Kayla Harrison now that I'll talk about in a few. Women's MMA is on the rise. The UFC roster right now is comprised of 15% women. Think about that. That is phenomenal. 15% women. They've only been around 10 years. 15% women. Think about how many women have the opportunity to be in the UFC. How many women? Because there's not that, it's not a popular sport for women. So the opportunity for a woman to make it to that level is far greater for her. And then that's where the money starts coming in. So there is opportunity there. The argument can be made to have a greater chance. Because I'm gonna tell you that I am a huge Dana White fan, who's the president, and he has made, just here lately, he has become really mainstream because of his views and things that he says, because he does not give a fuck. Nobody gives less a fuck than Dana White. About anything. He doesn't care. He does not give a fuck if you are a man, if you're a woman, what race you are, what country you're from. The UFC has fighters that represent more than 80 countries. Now, Dana White does give a fuck about one thing. He gives a fuck about putting asses in seats. Who's selling tickets? Who's selling pay-per-views? Who's getting views on the ESPN Plus network on the free fights that they have? That's who the network they're with. Because let me tell you, Dana and the UFC, along with the NBA, the WNBA, the NFL, the MLB, every professional sports league, Dana and the UFC are not in the fight business. They are in the money business. If you generate money for the company, you get paid more, period. If you don't generate money, you get paid less. If you are a needle mover, if you're going to put asses in seats, you're going to make more money. So I looked at just this 3 weeks ago, UFC 300, one of the largest, and turned out to be one of the absolute best cards in UFC history. And I've been watching the UFC faithfully since 1998, before Dana's company even bought it. On this card, there were 26 fighters. 6 of them were women. The lowest paid fighter, now this is estimations because there's some money that UFC, because of pay-per-view buys and bonuses, this is not, it's always not reported, but what has been reported, the lowest paid fighter on that card made $62,000. There's 6 females on that card. The lowest paid female fighter made $119,000. Holly Holm, who is a former champion, big name, been around a long time, was Ronda Rousey's first defeat. She made $274,000. She lost. Aljamain Sterling, who is a big name, former champion, recent champion, been around a long time. He's a draw. He made $274,000. The highest paid fighter was the main event light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira. He won, defended his title. He made 2.8 million. Now, this is probably before pay-per-view buy money, so it's probably a lot more. But the next person to talk about, Zhang Weili. She's a champion of I believe, the 15-pound division, female. Co-main event. She's from China. She made 2.2 million. Apparently, she has a big following, and there were a lot of pay-per-view buys in China. That is a lot of money. The other two that made more than Weili was Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. Now, if you watch that fight, you will probably agree that was one of, if not the best fight. It was the best fight. It's going to be hard to beat for this year. Best fight I have seen with the most dramatic finish. It's going to be fight of the century. Holloway, who ended up with $600,000 in bonuses, made 2.7 million. Gaethje made 2.3 million. He had 300,000 in bonuses. And I don't know if they were eligible for pay-per-view points. So the UFC just acquired two big names from other organizations, Kayla Harrison and Michael Page. Kayla Harrison is who fought Holly Holm, defeated her. She came from PFL, Bellator. They just merged. Michael Page made a name for himself, was champion in Bellator for years. Both of them, now Caleb Harrison made hers on this same card, UFC 300. Michael Page made his at UFC 299. Harrison, in her debut, made $310,000. That's reported estimate. It's not for certain, but that is what has been reported. Page made $100,000. Apparently, the UFC thought Kayla Harrison was a huge draw. Now, UFC 300 paid a lot of money. The fighters did make more money. So maybe that's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but it's fair to say if Harrison was on UFC 299, I think she'd have made at least what Page made. I don't think there's any argument there. It's about star power. It is about star power. And whose responsibility is that star power? Instead of bringing your daughter to Disney on Ice, Taylor Swift, bring them to a WNBA game. Bring them to a college female basketball game, softball game. We cannot criticize. Again, these leagues are in the money business. And when they're making money, their athletes are going to make money. If the WNBA was bringing in $10 billion a year and paying $76,000, that they should be in prison. But they're not. Who dictates that? We do. So the same people, and it's always I get it, and I do agree with a lot of it. But the ones that are just really spouting off at the mouth without their facts are liberals. I'd like to know what they're doing to support. What are they doing to support women's sports? What are they doing? Are they where are they spending their entertainment money? You can't go spend it at Disney on Ice and Taylor Swift concerts and going all over the country to go see Taylor Swift and complain about what female soccer players. That's been a big um, over the years. That has been a big topic in the WNBA when you're not doing a damn thing to support them. Put your money there. Spend your money there. And then you can say, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all are bringing in some money off of these ladies. We're supporting your organization. Why aren't you paying them? That's when the argument can really be you have a strong argument then. And my message to female athletes is I believe in the First Amendment. I have it right here. I have a platform with the first because of the First Amendment. And I say some controversial things. Hey, I'm saying some controversial things today. But if somebody doesn't like what I'm saying, they cannot support me. That's their right. And I've had that. I've had people stop following me because of the things that I've said. And I respect their decision. And I hope they respect my First Amendment and they don't have to support me. I can say what I want. You're damn right. Without fear of being punished, going to jail. But there's consequences to that. The WNBA has a history the last couple of years of kneeling for the national anthem, staying in the locker room, unified. The whole league last year, from the research I've done, was staying in the locker room. I can tell you right now, you do that, I'm not supporting you. I'm not buying a game. I'm not buying tickets to a game. I'm not buying any gear for my daughter or any other young uh, woman that I want to buy gifts for. That's not where their gifts are going to come from. If you are not supporting America, that's my choice. Yes, you can say what you want, but I have freedom of choice, and I'm not going to support you. And I'm going to tell you that we got to get outside of our positive feedback loop. Man, you're doing the right thing. Glad you're saying those things. Well, those people that are rah-rahing you when you're doing that, ladies, how much money are they giving you? How much are they supporting you? Because I can tell you the people that spend money, most people that really spend money on entertainment and support organizations, support concerts and fights and sporting events and all these things, most of them, they don't agree with being anti-police. They don't believe in kneeling for the national anthem. They take it as disrespect for our country, take it as disrespect to our military, and they're not going to support you. So that's the first thing, ladies, you got to look at. Maybe you're not being supported because of that. So you got to make a decision. And I've said before, I am not one that just says, hey, play ball and shut up. We have a platform, use it. But understand you can use it, you can say what you want, but I don't have to support you. And there's a whole lot of people like me. So I read today that Angel Reese, who I really like, we definitely differ in some views, but I respect her. I like her. She is being beat up right now for leaving practice early to attend last night to attend the Met Gala. some kind of big deal, some kind of big costume deal. Well, you know what? I support that. And I heard apparently her team supported that because she's selling a product. She's selling a product. She's selling women's sports. She is a hell of an athlete. She is a beautiful woman. She can get down there on that court and get down. She'll throw hands with you. And you saw her last night, look like just a beautiful lady. That's what type of woman that is. I know that's the type of woman. There's her and my daughter are almost the same age. My daughter graduates from LSU next week. That's a role model type lady. Even if I don't agree with everything that she says or does, she is. Let her alone and let her build those relationships and build that brand and build that sport. She's selling a product. So again, how do we ensure that women get paid equally or get closer? It's going to take years. It's going to take years to get there. Women make up 51% of our nation. So ladies, start spending your money supporting other women. Start spending your money supporting women's sports. Again, I'm going to close with this. Every one of these organizations are in the same business. They're in the money business. We want our athletes to make more money. Simple. Shift our money there. We can't holler about equality when we aren't spending our money equally. It's on us. We control this whole damn thing. We control this whole damn thing. So Friday, now we got tomorrow. We got my son hosting Ticket Away Thursday. Friday, we got the World Doesn't Give a Fuck Friday. Don't know what the topic is. Something's gonna hit me tomorrow, or something hit me Friday morning. I'll come out with it. But those are just some thoughts that I wanted to bring out. That's been a pretty hot topic, but I think that we have to look at it and view it that way. So until Friday, Mcgee is out.